So welcome everybody, and we're so excited to be having this conversation with GAYLA Wall, who is a Senior Presidential Director in LifeWave, and she is actually, I don't know where we sit in your tree, but you're somewhere up there, having been in the business longer than us. And I had a conversation with GAYLA a few weeks ago now, and it was just so wonderful because she shared so generously about her experiences, how she's approaching the business, and given that I think nearly everyone in our team is very new to this kind of work. I thought it's really lovely. We watch lots of videos. We're in different groups, all of us, but it's really lovely to be able to have a conversation with someone. So essentially the kind of flow for today, and I sent some questions through to GAYLA, is GAYLA start off, she'll share her story, and she has a couple of amazing stories about her son, Sammy, and her mum. And then really we want to kind of dive under the hood of how she is running her business. What are the things she pays attention to? How does she have conversations with people?
Yes.
To invite them, both people that you know and also people that you don't know, because they're kind of different fish, and how to start that is I think a sticking point for many of us. So GAYLA, welcome. So lovely to have you here, and I'm just going to hand over to you, and let's get excited and explore.
Shoot. Having a little issue there. Well, thanks for having on. It's nice to meet everyone in the land down under.
And actually, we've got a mix. So Erin's from Massachusetts. And we've got a bit of a mixed team because we've traveled to the US a lot over the years. We do have quite a lot of Americans in our group. But also Aussies and Kiwis and
Europeans.
And Europeans, yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
And hopefully
let's go global. Yeah, everybody needs this patch. If you're breathing, you need it. It doesn't matter where you're from or anything else. So my story really quick. I've been with LifeWave for 3 years. I started in June. I think it was the 6th. And she wanted me to talk about a couple of stories. I'll give you my son's story. When I had been in the company for a year and a half, so it was December 20th, that my son had a car accident. He was life flighted. He had brain damage. They had to do a craniectomy, remove part of his skull. He had 3 brain bleeds, a brain bleed here. This side cracked, so it allowed for some inflammation. This side did not. And so his brain started swelling, and the doctor said that the brain stem was starting to move 1 more millimeter, and he wouldn't be with us. So I had to allow that craniectomy, which was really serious. They took a big part of his skull out. But then it was probably that big. And then they did put it back in, and he's fine now with that. There's no, you can't even tell he did it, just put a scar and his hair covers it. But he was paralyzed on his right side because the left side of your brain controls the right side of your body. He had contusions all over his lungs. He was in STICU, which is the trauma for brain injuries. He was in there for 35 days, in the hospital for 55 days. And then in acute rehab for another 35 days. They would have kept him longer if I would not have taken him out of there. But what happened was the 3rd day in, I kept asking them, the nurses, well, can I put this patch on Sammy? And, they kept saying that, the doctor doesn't know anything about it. So, he doesn't feel comfortable with it. And so I prayed about it, and I told the Lord, all I have to do is go and stick this patch underneath him. I have hundreds of people in my organization that I've been able to help, and you're not going to let me help my own son. And he said, I just don't want you to do that. And I said, well, I'm not going to stop trying. So the next morning, I obeyed him. I did not put the patch underneath him, but the next morning I stood in the middle of STICU, and I told the nurse, I said, I'm going to be standing right here until I am talking to a neurosurgeon. So 3 minutes later, Dr. Gable, the neurosurgeon, one of the neurosurgeons, not the one that did the surgery, but the other one. And I said to him, he walks up to me and says, Mrs. Wall, I don't think you understand the severity of your son's accident. He's got a severe traumatic brain injury. He said, if he makes it, you've got a long, hard, bumpy road ahead of you. And I said, okay. And I took the patch and I put it in his hand. I said, can I put this on my son? And the reason I'm telling you this part of the story, I think it's very important. If you start sharing this, you have to be an advocate for yourself when people are in the hospital, and you have to take control. I don't know how it is in Australia, but I know in the United States, I did. I took care of my son. I said, if you don't do what I'm asking you, I'm going to take him out of here, period. And that's when he said, what is the patch? And I said, well, it's non-transdermal. It's not interfering with anything you're doing. It's not medical. It's a wellness device. It works by phototherapy and it helps your body produce new cells. I didn't say the other word because we're not allowed to say that other word now. At least that's in litigation with the FDA right now in the United States. I'm not sure about Australia. So anyway, he said, did you say new cells, new healthy cells? And I said, yes. And he goes to go put it on his head. So that was the third day. Okay. As of up to the third day, he had not opened his eyes and he had no movement. And the third day I put the patch on the back of his neck because my sponsor, not my sponsor, but the person I work with, my mentor, she took and sent an email to David Schmidt, the developer and the CEO of the company, and asked him what to do. And he sent me an email. I said, I'm so sorry. This is what I would do if this was my child. This is the patches that I would wear. And there was like 8 different patches. And I put the X39 on the back of his neck and then the other patches where he told me to. And the next morning, he opened up his eyes and started moving with the pencil. So that means he wasn't brain dead. Okay. That means he had come back. So that was a miracle. That was the third day. And then from the third day to the 6 days after that, he still was paralyzed on his right side this whole time. And I read how cerebral fluid, that the carnosine, which is an amino acid in your body, helps to regulate cerebral fluid. Well, we have a patch called carnosine. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to go. I was praying about it. And so I went and I took the carnosine and the X39 and I put it on the left side of his head where he had the damage. The next morning, okay, which was like 6 hours later, I went to his room, and because I had to stay in the hall because he had such infection and everything. He had pneumonia. He had 105.6 fever for I think it was 2 or 3 days, and which is really bad. And whenever I walked in, Sarah, the nurse, said, Gayla, Sammy's moving his right side. I said, what? She said, yeah, like really moving it, like not just a little finger, like he's moving his right side. So I went in there, his whole leg was raised up. I was hysterically excited. So that was huge. And then he just started from there. It was just, so fast. He had the infection. They had to get rid of that. They did have to do a surgery where they drained out his lungs. And, but then he started improving so quickly and they had him on all this medication, like $500,000 worth of medication in the hospital. So whenever he left the hospital, I told him, I said, I want him on no drugs. He will be on no drugs. And they were like, oh, he's going to have to be on drugs the rest of his life. I said, that's why he's here. He will be on no drugs when he leaves here. You start reducing him now. So they had him on 9-Klonopin, which is a really bad drug, which was the drug they had the problem with. And within 2 weeks, they reduced him from 9 to 0. And he went through a little bit of a detox, just like really angry and, a little bit, just agitated. And they kept wanting to try to put him back on. I said, you're not putting him back on that. You just are not. And it is absolutely, I will take him out of here. And they were getting like $1,500 a day, okay, for him to be in the acute rehab. So after that, he was in there for 35 days in acute rehab. He had to learn how to walk all over again, learn how to talk, everything, because it was all gone. He was down to about 85 pounds and now he weighs about 170. So you can imagine that's a lot of weight to lose in just 55 days. He couldn't eat. He had a trach put in. So I kept telling him, I want the trach out. I want the trach out. And I said, I want the trach out before he goes over there. Like they kept putting it off. And finally one day he just takes it out, just literally pulled it out. I was like, oh my God. Yeah. So they did take it out before he left. I mean, we were out. It was just crazy how fast this went. And there is no doubt in my mind, it was because of these patches. And then he had an eye still that would go out here. Like this eye would look this way. So they call it teaming. This eye would not team because this side was the side that was paralyzed. And they did rehab to get the muscles and everything back up. So I took the X49 and I put it right here. I put the X39 right here. And in 5 days, his eyes were teaming perfectly. So now, a year and a half later, which actually was about 7 months, he was tubing behind our boat. He is now, his right hand is bigger and stronger than his left hand because they were doing rehab. And the occupational therapist said, GAYLA, you know, I mean, I know it's a miracle. I know everything that's happening is just amazing. We're all so excited, but he's never going to gain full use of his hand again. I said, yes, he is. He's going to, I said, what part of 100% recovered do you not understand? He's going to be fine. Just keep working with him. And it wasn't like a week or two later, this side was stronger than this side. She literally got up and said, Sammy, can I hug you? And started crying. So, you know, it was just so miraculous to see everything that he did. And, you know, he was young. When you're 22, you're still making stem cells. Okay. But they didn't know if he was going to live. And 105.6 fever for 2 days. Are you kidding? I mean, that is like insane. They had his room so cold, I literally could not stay in that room with him. It was that bad. So that's my son. Then my mother, we were just on vacation about a week ago. Thank God for LifeWave. We went to Florida. I took my whole family, my 2 sons and their wives. And my mom is 84 and she's been on these patches for 3 years. They saved her life as well, but I'm not going to go into all that. I'm just going to tell you this last thing that just happened. She fractured her back in a car accident. Okay. She had a car accident. She crushed L4, and my brother called me from the hospital. You know, mom's had a wreck. She's fractured her back. I said, let me talk to the nurse. So they told me what was going on. And I know most of the people at the nurse because I lived at the hospital for 55 days. So it was Tyler. And I said, Tyler, I'm Sammy's mom. He's like, oh my God, how's Sammy doing? So anyway, I said, listen, those patches we were using, I need you to put that on my mom's back. He goes, I'm not allowed to. I said, well, I need you to do it. And he's like, okay, well, I'll just help your mom do it. So anyway, he put 3 X39 on that vertebrae in a triangle. Okay. And I've learned if you use more X39, that you get more benefit. And so I just put 3 on there. And because I've done that with my son and I've seen great results when I put more patches on him. So I put the 3 X39 on there. They did that while we were in Florida for a week. And then my mom went home with my brother, and my sister-in-law did it for her the next week. And then we got home. So I was with her for about 4 days of putting the 3 on there. So it was about 2.5 weeks. And they wanted to do surgery on her at the hospital. I said, you're not doing surgery. I said, we're going to try something natural. If it doesn't work, I'll go ahead and submit to a surgery. But she's 84 and she does not need to have a surgery right now. So they said, well, she's going to have to wear a brace. Well, she wouldn't wear the brace. So she's been, fractured back at 84. Like, they were just like, I don't know, she's going to be able to walk. 3 weeks into this, 3 weeks of wearing 3 X39 on their L4, July 4th weekend, she went boating with us. She has no pain. 0. Like, what is happening? So I could go on and tell you stories that make your hair curl. I mean, it's insane. I don't even know what to say how amazing this patch is. But that's just been my experience. But that's kind of my 2 favorite stories because they're my family. But I could tell you there's not a thing that you could ask me about, I don't think, that somebody can have, because you're dealing with a cell that's a pluripotent cell that could be any cell in your body. So whatever people have wrong with them, as long as they wear this patch, the body is we're fearfully and wonderfully made. It knows where those stem cells need to go. You wear it on the back of your neck or you wear it under your belly button, and it's going to go where it needs to go. If you have like knee pain, like maybe you need a knee replacement, you may want to wear the patch right on your knee. Just so it'll go a little bit more there first, but it's going to end up going systemic as well.
GAYLA, they are both such incredible stories, and I just love your mama bear energy. It's like, no, that's not happening.
Yeah.
No, you're not doing this. So that's just so and it's that it's that belief and the knowing you have about what's possible with the patches that gives you that confidence to stand up to other people's views and things, which is fabulous. I know everyone's going to be wondering, as well as the X39, you mentioned X49 with Sammy, what were some of the other patches that David recommended? And I know that we always want to start people with X39.
I think I had every patch on him. honestly. Yeah.
When in
But we
doubt.
have 12, 11, 12 patches. Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah, fabulous. That's great. What a story.
I would have loved to have seen the people in the hospital. They walk in, give him his sponge bath, and they, holy cow, what are all these patches? What are all these white spots
Oh,
on him?
they off. I was literally, I mean, it was bad. I mean, it was really, some people were great, and some people were just like, well, he's not supposed to be wearing these patches anyway. I said, yes, he is. I have permission from Dr. Gable. So
Yeah.
do not take patches. Well, we have to give him a bath. I said, that's fine. I will take his patches off and on. I'm here constantly. So yeah, it was a struggle. Believe me, it wasn't, but I did make friends with people, and the Dr. Weaver said, he'd never really showed much interest in the patch, and I wasn't gonna, that's one thing when we go into the training here, I don't ever shove this patch down anybody's throat. I feel like I'm going to give you this information, okay? And you're either going to take it or you're not, and it's okay. It's fine. I feel like my kingdom, my people, God's going to bring them to me, and my faith comes from God. And I know David Schmidt says that God gave him this information, that he had downloads from God, literally, that gave him just the whole realm of this whole thing. A patch that's encompassed with a crystal made in a lab that you infuse with a light wave. I mean, who comes up with that? That's so beyond human. Okay. And he literally, I know someone that worked with someone that was the top income earner at another network marketing company. Their husband was the attorney for the company, and they tried to buy out LifeWave. And David Schmidt, you need to understand that I will never be for sale, because this is not my company. This product comes from God. I'm just here to protect it.
Oh, golly.
That's goosey, actually.
It's crazy amazing.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
He is such a sincere, when you look at different people and the different interviews we have watched with him, like he's such a sincere, real person, and very humble, and it just quite extraordinary, and he really is there for everyone else. It's incredible in any line of business, let alone this industry. So yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah. I agree with you 1,000%. I think he's amazing.
Yeah. So Gayla, let's then jump into the training. So some of the things that we were curious about, and we think that our, others listening to this will be about, and you kind of mentioned it, the philosophy you have for growing and supporting your team. So how, then we'll move into how you have those conversations, but share with us your overall philosophy for growing your LifeWave business.
So what I teach my team is I always come from love. I love my people. I love my team. And I love getting to know them. I love, when I told Crystal, I said, we got a new team. We get to meet. Yay. Oh my God. She was so fired up. And she goes, oh my God, these questions. Who is this person? I said, I don't think she's ever done network marketing. She goes, you're kidding. She goes, we got to use these on our Zoom Thursday night. She was so excited to be on here, and I texted her. I said, see you in 10. She goes, what? She goes, girl, I just landed in Mexico. I thought it was next Tuesday.
Oh no.
Well, no, I was we're happy to schedule something else. Yeah.
So what I just shared on our last, I do a meeting every week for my local team. And I told everybody, I said, how I share this product is, I don't care if you wear it. I don't care if you get started. I don't care if you become a millionaire. I don't care if you want to make $500. I don't care anything. I don't care. And that's the biggest thing you got to get a hold of right there, is not to care. Because what happens is, especially for my personality, I'm a yellow. So I want to save the world. And I get all tangled in there, and I want to help them, and I want to make everything work. And I see these great things in them, and I'm like, but you can do this. But what I had to do is I had to stop caring and just give them what they need, and let them make their own choices because I realized I was controlling them. Even though my heart was right and I wanted to help them, I realized by me getting upset, because, and this is what I'm teaching my daughter-in-laws right now. They just got started with me working the business part of it. And now wearing the patches and seeing results, which is so crazy. They're so young. And I'm so excited about this new team that, you know, because we need young people. I mean, when people are wearing these patches and their body starts producing these new cells, when you're older, you're barely making them. I'm 60, so I'm making like 10%. When you're 30, you're making 80 or 90%. So I'm going to see a result a lot faster than somebody that's 30. But the problem is the younger people, they don't have the foundation of good food we did.
Yeah.
So they're growing up on blah, yucky stuff. Now, my kids didn't, because I drove all over the place and was totally organic. They never had sugar till they got out, you know, of my realm, and never had soft drinks growing up. Not one single soft drink. So I was weird. You know, my kids were weird. We were all weird. But now they look back.
We love it.
Like, wow, you know, thanks, Mom. And I'm like, yeah, well, it was hard because I didn't vaccinate. Everybody thought I was weird for that. And I was, you know, and then they come out with there's aluminum, the vaccinations and all this other stuff. And it's like, yeah, no. So I've been weird for a while. So I'm used to being weird. If I was not weird, I would think I was weird.
Well, you know, there's never any coincidences, so it's no wonder that we're connected, because our group is pretty weird.
Oh,
you know, everything you're saying is resonating and will be resonating. And I love when you said, you know, not caring, and we talk about it in terms of, the phrase I use is enlightened disinterest. And we still love people and we want the best from them, but we're kind of disinterested from that place of love, and control, that, you know, they'll do it, and if the time's right, it's right. If it's not, and maybe it never will be, but they get to choose.
That's right. That's right. And that is it. That's the choice. And when it comes to God and Satan, God gives you a choice. Satan wants to control you. So when I realized that, I'm like, I don't want to be like him. I want to be like him. So a big step for me. That's when my whole organization changed. And there's been some controlling people that have removed themselves, that are in my organization, that have backed up, and that I am not working with now. And I'm praying they get a hold of some stuff, but God has connected me to other people, and it's been amazing. So, you know, I just want to come from love. And when I come to somebody and I share this with them, you know, I do not have people say to me anymore, is this a scam? Is this is this that network marketing thing? Because I got my team coming to me with these things. I'm like, really? Like, who are you talking to? Where are these people at? Because, and I think it's because I come from so long, I've been in this for 20 years, and I don't come from that. I think there's like trigger words. Like, I don't ever say sell. I don't ever say business. I say I share. I'd like to share a product with you that I think that is literally, and you know, look, you can't tell me, you hear me? You can't tell me these patches don't work. My boy is walking. My boy is using everything. Like, you can't tell me. Those doctors said he is paralyzed on his right side. Okay. That is a fact. And the nurse said, she said, we don't know why he's moving, because this is not normal. Like, he's been paralyzed now for, let's see, it had been 6, 7, 8, 9, almost 10 days. And for him to start moving now, we don't really understand it. I said, this is what I said to her. I said, so you're telling me that the left side of his brain controls the right side of the body, right? She said, yeah. I said, so where that patch is right there, is that the part of the brain that controls the movement? Because I know it is, because I looked on their little brain outside, and that's where I knew how to patch. I looked at that thing and patched the problem. Well, this is the problem, okay? And she goes, so what's that patch about again? I said, ma'am, that's called a miracle. That's called a miracle patch, is what that is. So, you know, I come from such conviction, and I come from such belief, and I come from such love. Because I really, and I tell people, you know, if they're like, well, I just don't know. I say, you know what? I don't want you to do this if you don't want to do it.
Mm.
I hope you do it because I absolutely know there's no way this can't help you. I don't know what it's going to do for you. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I know if you start wearing this patch, I told a lady this today. I said, if I take some soap and I put it on part of my arm and I wash it, is it going to get clean if my whole arm is dirty? She said, yeah. I said, it can't not get clean, can it? Because isn't soap a cleanser? And won't it clean that? It's just there's no question that's going to be clean, right? She said, right. I said, now the other stuff around it may still be dirty because I didn't clean that. I just cleaned that one little spot, right? She said, yeah. I said, if you wear this patch, it's scientifically proven to help your body produce new cells that are pluripotent, that can go anywhere in your body and be that cell that's damaged. So you can't tell me this can't work. It's impossible that it's not going to work. Here's my question to you. Are you going to give it the time? Are you going to dig in and start watching things so you can build your belief and understand it? Because this is a scientific breakthrough. Like this is huge. Like if this was in the medical field, you'd be seeing it all over TV. But this is a wellness product and you're not going to see it because they don't want it out there. Okay. So thank God you're here talking to me right now and that I'm sharing this with you. But you have to make a decision. Is it worth it to you? It's $3.30 a day. Is it worth it to you to give it 6 months to try it? That's pretty much how I treat it. And my conviction, you guys, is strong. And yours may not be in the beginning, but if you can just get people's attention enough to get them on a Zoom with me, they're in.
Yeah.
They're in. We'll close them because my belief is not a belief anymore. It's a knowing.
Yeah.
I went from knowing.
Yeah. And I think that, it is such a key because for all this, and we spend a lot of time watching the LifeWave videos, we watch a lot of the Evolve testimonials, like we're kind of, sponges at the moment. And I think what that has given us, and I'm possibly speaking for others on the team, I know Liz is doing the same, and Erin, that it gives us, we're borrowing the conviction of others. And what's so lovely is now that we, excuse me, are all meeting you, we can say, and we know someone, and this is her story, rather than, I watched a video and it was over there. So it's that, it's borrowing other people's experiences and conviction until, and it won't be long until we all start having our own testimonial stories coming through from the people that we're sharing with. So thank you for letting us borrow. Thanks for sharing.
You are a born network marketer.
Oh, really?
I am absolutely mind blown with you. Mind blown. Like you are the perfect student.
Oh,
perfect. Because you are literally, I don't even have to teach you. Like you're literally saying everything. Like, how do you know this stuff? Like it's wild.
It just kind of makes sense to me. Who knows where it came from, but it definitely makes sense.
But that's what I'm saying. You're a natural. Like you literally, like you were born to do this type of business.
Well, we're having fun with it, definitely.
We're having great fun with it. And I think too, because of the sort of work that we've been doing for the last, oh goodness knows, forever really, that there's a place where you want to share without pushing. You want to really help, but allow yourself to stand back, and you want to be passionate, but not over passionate, overzealous. There comes that space where you just got to take that chill pill. And and you do. And I thought, it's one of those things too. I thought that I had also learned that. And then till you start doing the business, and then you get that bit of rejection again from a different type of rejection, and you go, come on, how can you not see this? And so that's been really good to then just go, yep, Mary goes, okay, you got to let it go. I go, yep, you're right. Time to move on. And they will or they won't. And it does just allow you to talk to anyone and go, yeah, they'll take it or they won't take it. So that's pretty cool.
That's right. And I tell my team, I say, look, out of maybe 70, maybe 100 people that I've enrolled, I've not enrolled a lot of people. Because right when I got in, the guy that I started working with just took off and he got a hold of Crystal Tini, and he and I worked her organization. I think it was about 6 months in. We worked her leads for a year, maybe. I can't give you exact time, but I did not enroll a lot of people in the very beginning. And through 100 people, I'm working through about 4. I mean, I have other people doing little things, but I have 4 that are strong.
Yeah.
And a lot. And so like I've got a guy right now that I went to look at a pool. He is a pool salesman for this area. He's very well known family, very successful. And we got to talking, and we were talking about health. He had one of the hydrogenated water bottles, which I have one as well. I go, oh my gosh, you're the first person I've seen that has one of that. And we were just bouncing off of each other on wellness stuff. And I said, well, have you heard about the X30? Have you heard about the cell generation patch? And he goes, oh yeah, the 67 or like 39. And he goes, oh yeah. He goes, yeah, I've been wearing that for a while. He goes, I used to be in a wheelchair. I said, what? I said, you're kidding me. He goes, no. He goes, this lady came in and gave me these patches and said, this is really going to help you. Don't throw them away. Wear them. You got to promise me you'll wear them if I get them for you. And he said, okay. He's been on that patch for 2 years. I said, he goes, and I'm about out, so I'm going to need to order. I go, well, you need to call the lady that you got them from. He goes, I don't know who she is. I said, hold up. You're not in this, or you're not in LifeWave? He goes, no, she gave them to me. I said, she gave you 2 years worth of X39? That's $2,400. He goes, what? I go, who is this lady? He goes, I have no idea. She come and bought a pool. I don't even know who she is. I said, well, if you can find her information and you want to sign up underneath her. He goes, no, I cannot get a hold of her. Can I sign up underneath you? I said, sure. So I signed him up underneath my daughter-in-law. He comes to a meeting. He blows everybody's mind telling them his stories. Amazing. Okay. And telling, don't use deodorant, use this kind. And this is what it did. It literally made his skin underneath his arms, and he's a bodybuilder now, but he had crushed discs, just all kinds. He was in a wheelchair. Okay. And it made his arm, under the skin on his armpits, lighter from using Old Spice. So throw that away if you have it. All the guys in my family, and I told them that's junk, and now they throw it all away. Now they're all getting this Squatch or whatever he told them to get. But he's amazing. He's got the most amazing ability to blow this out of the water, and he sells for this Firemaster. And he came to that meeting, and I talked to him a little bit, told him how great this was, and I told Lindsay, I said, he's going to take off, and he's not come to one more meeting. He's not said one. He's not answered a text, and I'm like, let him incubate. Every once in a while, I'm gonna say, hey, so and so, how's it going? What's up? But I'm gonna do it about every week. And look, here's the thing. If he gets in and he runs with it, great. If he doesn't, he's got patches, and that's great too. I don't get excited anymore whenever, people come in and go, oh, this worked, I'm gonna blow it out of the water. Now, I did in the beginning, but I learned everybody doesn't blow it out of the water that says they're going to blow it out of the water. So the experiences that I've had is just sit back, plant the seed. And I know this is so easy. I heard people, I'm just now remembering people going, all you got to do is plant the seed and water it and it'll grow. And I was just like, yeah, okay. I mean, I ran around like a fool when I was in Organo Gold. Like, I literally would go sit in hotels trying to meet people because, the internet back then wasn't that strong. And I was doing everything I could to meet people. My husband was sick. We were desperate. I needed this thing to take off. And I did have great leadership, but it just was a different time and it was a different situation. It didn't work for me at all. I made $3,500 a month in that company at the most, which is okay for part-time, but compared to what I'm doing now that is an hour now or something. I don't know, but it's crazy. So what I had to learn was if I just share it and I share it out of love and I don't get caught up in it. I don't get caught up, and I just say, is this going to be somebody I'm going to help? I never thought my daughter-in-laws would do this. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, they're like, well, can I do this as a business? I'm like, yeah. And now, and she'll come to you, and I can tell, I can read people. I can tell when she's getting, when my one daughter-in-law, when she's like, she gets quiet, I'm like, hey, let's go through the people. We did it this morning. Let's go through the people you've talked to and how you want to follow up. And so it's so important when you guys do enroll people and you follow up with them. I only share the product. I never talk about the business. The only thing I say is when I'm talking to them about a wholesale, get a wholesale account, you can buy the product wholesale or retail. If you get a wholesale account, you are able to share it with people, and you can get some rebates back to pay for your product if you want to. If you don't want to, that's fine. You still can buy it wholesale. So there's, it's $50 more a month if you buy it retail. So I've never sold anybody retail, but if you want to do that, that's fine. I've never to this day sold retail. Never.
So Gayla,
3 years.
do you encourage people to sign up with a silver pack? Is that because is that the best way?
That's the thing I tell them. That's
okay.
it.
Okay.
Unless they come in and say, yeah, I want to share it. And is this network marketing? And then I'm like, it is. And then you need to come in at the gold, because the gold is the level you need to be at to be the first level of leadership, which is the manager, which is signing up 4 people at the silver, 2 on the right, 2.
And so when you're signing someone up with a silver pack, what configuration do you use with them? What do
always 39.
Just so 3x39s?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The only time I'll ever do anything else is if they're into sports. And then I'll say, do have a patch, because remember, the X39 has a little bit of all the patches. Okay. Except for the X49, because it was made after. Now the Ice Wave, most of the time, the X39 helps people with pain. I'll put 1 X39 on them. If 1 patch doesn't work, I put 3.
In that triangle?
Yep.
It's interesting, the triangle. We've seen someone else talk about the triangle. There's something in that, isn't there?
It is. My friend's the one that taught me that. She's one of my presidentials, and she said it makes the connection, and it works really well that way. But somebody asked a question in there and I didn't. Can you read that?
Yeah, so Wendy says, how do you work out what kind of conversation do you have, whether to enroll or to be a preferred customer?
I don't even know what a preferred customer is.
So you're just signing up silvers.
Period.
Yeah.
Period. That's why I don't recommend people to go and listen to the Evolve group, because I don't do what they do. I do what the ZIT team does, which I'm not even part of their team, but I've spoken at their events before, and I'm good friends with Gina, and she includes me just like I'm part of her team. I believe like they do, and Onyx Cole is the one that taught me this. That's my mentor. That's who I work with. And now my sponsor is from the Evolve group, but I don't work with them. They're doing great. They're doing what they need to do, and they're doing fine. I have found in my own business that it works better if I don't use any patches but the X39 in the beginning. The only other time I'll make an exception is if they have neuropathy. And then most of the time, the Ice Wave really helps with the neuropathy in the beginning. I don't know if I've shared Ice Wave with anybody that it's not worked on. Mary Beth is a nurse in my organization, and she's used the Ice Wave on people and it's not worked, but I have never.
So when you're using it with neuropathy, it obviously it regenerates the cells, so it brings back the feeling in the area.
So the feet is where the numbness is. The problem is coming from the spine.
Right.
It's a nerve that's either pinched or degenerated, but it's not in the feet. Is the symptom.
Yeah.
The cause is the nerve damage. So you put the patch, the X39, where the nerve damage is coming from. You put the ice wave on the feet where the pain is. White always goes on the right, tan always goes on the left.
Okay.
So my time
And-
in Florida, I put his big toe is his area that it really burns the worst. So I put the white ice wave on his big toe and the tan ice wave on his left big toe. And within 15 minutes, he goes, my feet don't hurt. And we went out to eat that night. And if he eats lobster or crab or anything like that, they live in Florida, his feet really bother him. And we ate all that. I got done at the evening. I said, how's your feet, Bill? And he goes, my feet don't hurt.
I love it.
So he wore them for 3 days. And I'm like, dude, you're only supposed to wear them for 12 hours. He goes, I'm not taking them off because they
We have a friend who who was the same. I'm not taking them off. They're so good.
Yeah.
So Liz is wondering, Gayla, how long do you try one X39 before you would then put the other two on and do the triangle? How long do you leave the first one?
Very good question. So if I'm doing a meeting, like last night we had a guy come to our meeting, or Monday night, and he had back pain. It was like all across his back. It was both sides and the middle. So, but first he only told me the side of the back. And so I put it right there, the 1X39. After 30 minutes, I said, how's your back? He goes, well, my back only hurts if I move a certain way. So always, do you have back pain? Where does it hurt at? Is it hurting right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Because if it's not hurting right now, it's hard to tell. So I said, well, then get up and walk around. So he got up and walked around. He goes, yeah, I'm not feeling anything. And I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe it's working. I said, well, let's just go ahead and put 3 on there, because I know that if one doesn't, 3 almost every single time. And every time I've patched people this way, it's worked. I have one guy on my team that he did it through the phone. I told him what to do and it didn't work on him, but he has 6 crushed discs.
Oh.
6, yeah. I'm sorry, not crushed, degenerated.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's a big area that is traumatized. He is seeing results now, but it's taken 3 months for him to, but anyway, last night I put him across the line. I put one in the center of his spine and I put one on this side and one on this side, the X39. And I'm getting ready to call Ruthie here in a little bit and find out how he did. But most every single time I do that, and the reason I didn't do a triangle is because he pointed to the areas of pain.
Yeah.
So on that area of pain.
Okay, that's fabulous. And there's a question from Erin, but just following on from what you said, you had a group last night. How do you is it that your team brings their prospects to these? How do you get a group together?
So we have a church. One of the people on the team, their church has a cafeteria, and they let us use that place. And we meet every Monday at 6:00. And about once a month, I'll bring food, and we'll all just have like a big party. But we do a presentation for 30 minutes, just like we're going to do on Thursday's Zoom. So we're doing a Monday night meeting at the church for my team here, the locals. And then I'm doing a Zoom on, on the internet for people that are in Australia or, Spain, wherever, or if they can't come to the meetings, they can get on a Zoom. And we do the same. We're going to do a presentation on the Zoom. This is only going to be our second one, but we're going to do a presentation, tell about David, tell about the product, the X39, and then we tell stories. Everybody tells their story. Like last night, there was 12 people there, and all 12 people gave their story, and there was a guest. So he wanted to know. He goes, I'd really like to hear how the product's doing for everybody else. I said, well, we'll just all give you a 2-minute story. So it was only about 1 minute, but everybody went through and did that. And then the next half of the meeting is going to be business, compensation plan, talking about how to share it, with Crystal Teeny being your upline. And she is a influencer. She's going to be sharing with you guys how you can market this online and how you can be.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, fabulous. So just so everyone knows, Gayla's going to share all of this info, so we'll be able to start to tap into these online resources as well, which is so exciting.
Yeah, Thursday night.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So Erin was saying, can you just repeat what you offer a new person? So actually, can we just pretend? Let's say we bumped into you. We're standing next to each other at Starbucks. Not that we would be buying Starbucks coffee, but as a location we know in America. And we just happen to say g'day, and you start chatting to us. And let's say you get a feel that we might be open and interested.
Well, I ask questions like, what do you guys do for a living? Where are you from? Without sounding like I'm interviewing them, I would say, sounds like you got an accent. Are you from around here? And you'd say, no, I'm from Australia. I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing, And then I just try to, I don't try. I look for things like, I want to compliment people. I'm not going to sit there and say, I like your shoes if I think they're ugly. I'm not going to lie, but I look for things like, I like your hairstyle. I really like your hair. Who's your hairstylist? Or, are you new to the area? A lot of times, with me, I know people in my area. A lot of people look familiar to me especially because online. I used to do a lot of videos online. I'd have people walk up to me in stores and say, "You're Gayla from Facebook," and I'm like, "I got to get off there because this is weird." Like, I'm in the store and these people are knowing me. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just make conversation, and the minute that they say anything, we stopped by to look at a boat the other day, and my husband said, go ahead. He told the lady come to the door. She said, well, my husband will be out there to meet you to go look at the door. He goes, well, Gayla, why don't you stay here with her? You guys can sit on this. They had a little bench out there, and I'll go look at the boat. And she goes, oh no, I can't go out there. My allergies are so bad, and my hurts. And Eddie goes to her. He goes, Gayla, go give her a patch. Like, all need a patch in your life. My husband is so awesome. I cannot tell you how many times that we have stopped and to yard sales or whatever. And the minute somebody, like this lady had a little thing on her arm because she's a diabetic, I said, oh, do you have diabetes? And she's like, yeah. I said, those things are pretty neat how they work, if they work, because I've heard, sometimes they cannot be so great. Because I actually know the guy that up here, not far from us, multimillionaire, owned the theme park that had that diabetic little thing that they put on them. You know what I'm talking about? That automatically gives a certain amount of,
Yep.
didn't work. And he was in his pool, cleaning his pool, and he died because of that thing. So yeah, they can be bad. But I'll look for things, if I see somebody limping or, I just listen. If you're talking to somebody more than 5 minutes, they're probably complaining. They're either
Thank goodness for that. Suddenly it's a good thing.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And then okay, so say we were talking and you started doing like this to your arm, like your arm was bothering. I said, what did you hurt your arm? Oh, I got tennis elbow. I said, oh, okay. So do you have that? I wouldn't immediately go on to you about the patch. Okay. I wouldn't go because that's never good. I said, oh, has it been hurting you for a long time? Yeah, it's been about, 3 or 4 years. And the more information that I can collect, more knowledge that I have, the better I can help you. Okay. So I would say something like, oh, it's been 3 or 4 years. Well, so what have you done that's well, they gave me a shot of, cortisol, and that worked for a little bit, but I said, yeah, I know those, they never last. And that, because I know about cortisol, I know that if they give you a steroid shot, and that makes you gain weight, not cortisol. It's a steroid shot. And it's called cortisone, I think. Yeah. And I'd say, well, have you heard about the patch that helps your body produce new cells so your body can regenerate, and produce new, where you're, first of all, it helps with the inflammation, but it would also help for your joints in there to literally regenerate. Have you heard about that patch? They're like, no. I'm like, well, if you want more information, I can give you a website you can take a look at. As a matter of fact, I've got some of these patches with me. If you want to grab your coffee, I can sit down over with you and I'll give you a free patch if you want to try it. It doesn't interfere with nothing's going into your body. It won't affect you. And then I'll show them the patch. Here's the patch. This is what it looks like. And they want to hold it because everybody wants to feel, touch, and smell everything, right? So they look at it and okay. And a lot of times they'll say yes, sometimes they'll say no. And I grab the patch back. Okay.
Yeah.
You are not licked. That's $3.30. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I made 16 grand last week. I'm not too concerned about $3.30. But if I show value to this $3.30, they're not either. So
Yeah.
I take it from them, I put it back in my purse, and I said, well, if you'd like to research it, I can give you a website. But if not, I totally understand. I hope your arm gets better. You know,
Yeah.
because I remember I'm from love because I care about this person.
Yeah. So then if they say yes, you'd patch the spot.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
while you're sitting there chatting, blah, 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 then see what they notice. So Liz was wondering, would you give them more at that point if they're going, oh, actually, that does feel better? Would you give them some more, or would you then move straight to, well, look, if you want to buy them?
Yeah, and I'd say, well, normally it doesn't work that quickly. Like they see a result. Like if I tell them wear it for 12 hours and then you can take it off and throw it in the trash can. And then if you'll give me your number, now I would never give you the patch or put the patch on you if you're not going to give me your phone number, because if I can't follow up with you, if somebody was to say, well, I had a guy do this. It was somebody, I was with Onyx and her sister, and we were at an event somewhere. We were on a SPD trip. And we were at the Ritz-Carlton, and they were having this big to do, and this guy was drunker than a skunk, and her sister was trying to find us some leads, and we were just laughing, and carrying on. Me and Onyx and her sister and a few people that were with us. And she goes, I got somebody it's interested in the patches. And I go, so really? She said, yeah. I said, okay. So I walked over there and she said, hi, this is GAYLA. This is my friend. She can share the patch with you. And she walked off. And I'm like, what are you doing? This guy he can't even see me. I mean, what are we doing? So he's like, yeah, so I had the patch in my hand and they took it out of my hand. I almost wrestled him to get it back. Like he goes, why do you got to have this? Why can't I have this patch? I said, because you won't give me your information. I'll give you my phone number then. I said, no, you won't, because you're probably going to lie. And I want my patch back. I mean, he was like, what? I do that either. I grabbed that patch back, put it in my purse. You know what I did that for? I did it for me.
Yeah.
I did it for me because to take it away from him. I'm not running after people.
No.
I learned that very, 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 very good, amazing network marketer. That was one of the most successful network marketers in the world. I worked with him. He said, GAYLA, you will get more people to follow you and more people in your business if they think they're going to miss out than if they think that they're going to win, because most people don't believe.
Yeah.
That saved my life. That
That's
changed for me. So I take it away all the time. No, it's fine. You don't need it. It's fine. It's okay. No, but I want to know the name of the company. Well, I'm not going to give you the name to him because he'd already, it was just bad. I just had to get out of there. I'm like, no, I'm not done with this. But if somebody say that you said, I don't want to put the patch on, but I am interested. Can I take it home and put it on myself? I say, you know what? I really want to be able to patch you myself, but I will give you information. I'd love to share the information with you and let you do your own research. It sounds like you're somebody that likes to really analyze things, and I have no problem with that at all, but I'm not giving them that patch. I will not give them that patch unless they give me their information. And I have to call them on their phone and know that it's going to ring, because they're not sincere. They're just not. If they're not willing to get their phone number, they're not willing to do it.
And I love that too, because there's no desperation in your space. You're not grasping it. It's just like, well, if you're standing in your sovereignty and your own knowing, and that's such a clear energy.
But I also come from love.
Yeah.
But I also know tough love too. And I know if you're going to come at me and you're going to, take the patch out of my hand and then tell me you're not getting me your phone number, your intentions are wrong, and you're not allowed in my space. As a matter of fact, you need to change things. So hopefully I'm teaching him a lesson on how to act and stop drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
That's so great.
Yeah.
So that's great. That's given us all, I think, an idea of how to open conversations and how to, how to navigate that part of it. And I'm aware we're at the hour, so I don't want to keep you longer than you have, Gayla. So because you're sharing
We
so
can
much. We could
guys
chat
come
to you
on
all day. This is so good.
absolutely
So I guess
enjoy
the thing that I think would be really interesting now is, so we had a few people, and Erin has had to drop off. She's got another call. But she and I were chatting the other day about how do you work out which leg you put people on as you're building out your business. So can you talk to us about your strategy and your philosophy around that?
Could I just
Yeah,
ask a quick,
Sorry, Liz?
yeah, could I just ask a quick question that's along the same lines as you were just talking about, please, Gayla, before, sorry, Bella, you must have missed it. I get what you're saying about getting people's phone numbers, but if people don't know me from a bar of soap and they're a little bit reluctant, would you then say, well, here, I'll give you my number and here's the patch and you ring me?
yeah, but I'm not going to
Yeah.
give them my
Not the patch.
Right. You'd only give it to them if they're curious, but if they don't take the patch and give you their number, if they don't give you their number, they don't get the patch. But they can, but you wouldn't give them the patch and ask them to follow up with you and tell them how the patch worked.
Never. They won't do it.
Yeah, that's what I wondered. Okay, thank you.
But yeah, they're not sincere, and if they've got that type of attitude, then they're already got so much stuff. I ain't got
That's
time
true.
for that.
Yeah. People are a little bit wary if they think you're trying to sell something, even when you're coming from love. But you're right, that's not the energy. That there's no point, really, is there? No, thanks.
And
Sorry.
I think Liz.
Yeah.
Can I just say, Liz, and Liz is my sister too, Gayla, so we both kind of look Irish and the same. But I think the thing, Liz, you are so skilled at building rapport and creating connection that I think it's really unlikely someone is not going to feel uncomfortable giving you.
No, thanks, Bella. I think you're right too. And because of my Chinese medicine background, the questions I ask, they open up and they tell me a lot about their physical stuff, even if I'm standing in a queue. But you know how people will just suddenly, if they suddenly think you've got an angle and you just feel them pull back. And so then I thought, in that case, if you got them a certain way along, but then you feel them pull back, would you then let them take the initiative? So here's the patch and ring me, but you don't. So I'll stick with your method. It clearly works. Thanks, Gayla.
Well, that's the yellow in you wanting to help them, and they don't want it. They don't want it. If they don't trust me enough to give me their phone number, they're not going to trust me enough to come into business with me. Now, I may say to them, hey, if you want to look at this and you want to meet back here, I can meet you here at Starbucks or wherever. I can meet you back here, next week. I can put you in my appointment book if you want to go take a look at it, and I can patch you then. And I give him a look. I had a guy and he finally told me, because he was a realtor. He had such potential. And he finally told me, he said, my father is in, I don't know if he was Secret Service or something, CIA or something. He said, my father's in a whatever, and he was poisoned one time, and I was selling this organic gold coffee. That's the business I was in that I was successful in. And I worked with Holton Bugs, and that's who I've been talking about this whole time that I was working with. And he would not drink that coffee for nothing. And I finally found out why was because, but I told him, I said, look, I'm just here to share this product with you. He saw me on Facebook, asked me some questions. I said, let's meet for coffee and I'll share this with you. But he would not. I opened up the package right in front of him. He still wouldn't have nothing to do with it because he had a fear. He had a true fear. Yeah. But we were friends. And this is another thing. Well, let's get on Facebook together. Let's be Facebook friends. If they ain't gonna be your Facebook friend, just walk away. I mean, I can't talk to you anymore. You know what I'm saying? That's just ridiculous. So they have too much fear I'm dealing with. I'm not a psychologist, and I mean, I know psychology from this business, but I'm here network marketer. I'm not going into all that stuff.
I love that.
Is connect with them on social media, and then they can watch you, and then they'll get more of a trust that way as well.
No trust. So Wendy's asking, Gayla, she says, how do you go about the follow-up? She says, I'm good with sharing about the patches, but when it comes to following up, I feel a bit salesy.
Okay, well, why do you think that?
So
Wendy, Wendy.
Wendy, do you want to unmute? Why do you feel salesy?
I think yeah, probably just a bit over conscious of it, and so I back off before I even do anything. Yeah, just that fear of being a salesperson, dropping my credibility. Yeah.
So what about salesmen? What has made you feel that way?
I guess I don't like to be sold things. I like to buy things, but yeah. So you get a salesman in a a shop, or you're looking at a car or something, it's just like, yeah, let me look for myself, thanks, and I'll come to you. I just like that kind of control. I don't like,
That's this girl. I'm the same way, 100%. Can't stand it. So the minute the sales, I see them coming for him, I'm like,
yeah.
I hate it. So I don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't come at people like that. So your follow-up is a schedule. I learned this from Holtz and Bugs. It's called, write this down, FAM BAM. No, BAM FAM. BAM from BAM FAM. That's book a meeting from a meeting. So if you give a patch and you say to them, you put the patch on them, I'm going to call you. Like yesterday, Ruthie said to Wayne, the guy that I patched, I'll call you tomorrow and we'll get your order. Now, she didn't tell me exact time, but he already knows. So you're not going to be salesy if you patch someone, you say, now, when do you want me to follow up? Because in 12 hours, you're going to be able to take the patch off, and then we can just get you started. I tell people, look, if you're in pain, you may feel something in this 24 hours. Most people do. If one doesn't work, 3 almost always does. There's been a few times it hasn't. So I'm not saying you're going to, but there's a possibility you will. There's also a possibility you won't. And it takes time for your body to get well. You've been sick for how long? Oh, 3 years. Okay. So you're looking at least 3 months. Okay. You may see something, you may see a little bit of inflammation. So maybe a little less pain, or you may sleep a little bit better tonight, or you may wake up tomorrow with a little bit better energy. You may see a little bit of improvement, but that's not what I'm looking for in putting this patch on you right now. What I'm looking for is to know that you can wear it, and then you're going to give it time for the patch to work. And we have Zooms that you can jump on where you can learn about. I can give you a website, startx39.com. You get on that website and there's vast information on there and that's all I give people is startx39.com. If they want to build the business, I give them another site, but to learn about the patch, that's the website I give them. So if you're booking a meeting so give it, for instance, tell me a for instance of you being afraid to call and follow up.
I had a friend, she injured her knee, and I gave her a couple of patches, and now she got a text a few days ago, because there was another conversation, and she said, oh, by the way, those patches worked really well and my knee's great. I go like, yeah. So yeah, to like what go over that thing, to go like, okay, let's have a conversation about, would you like some more?
So first of all, when you patch someone, always book a meeting from a meeting. So a meeting is 2 people talking, a conversation. It should be book a conversation from a conversation. But it wouldn't sound like Bam Fam then, and he couldn't say that. So anyway.
That's very good.
You'd say Bam Fam than back or whatever.
Yeah.
So when you patch someone, you're gonna say, I'm gonna, when do you want me to follow up?
Yeah.
Okay, write that down.
Yeah.
When I patch someone, I'm going to ask them, when do you want me to follow up? And they're going to tell you. So who's in control? Really, you are, but they think they are because you asked them a question. But you really are in control. You're the questioner, right? You're the one that said it. Okay. So then you followed up. So when she said, by the way, those patches helped me, what did you say?
Oh, great. What else? I did say. Off you go, fantastic. I'm glad you're happy. No, I said, I can't remember. Yeah, I just kind of like feel a bit like, yeah, I didn't know, kind of like have anything in my pocket to come to go further with.
So this is what you're gonna think. This is what I want you to think about. Okay. Do you guys have like a fast food restaurant that you ever go to? Or any place that you go through a drive-thru?
Oh
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
McDonald's or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it called?
We got McDonald's here.
Okay. Do you go there, Wendy?
Not often, no.
No.
Where do you personally go to?
Probably there's a cafe, a coffee shop.
Okay. And when you go to the coffee shop, do you tell them you want coffee?
Yeah.
And then she says, I need your card. Do you want to pay cash or credit?
Yeah.
And you give it to her?
Yeah.
And you tell her from Adam, she could go take that card number and write it down, right?
Yeah.
But we're so used to giving people our cards and so used to that.
Yeah.
So I want you to think about this as a coffee shop. I want you to think about that patch as coffee, because you're giving her a patch and you're going to say, listen, I want to know if you like this coffee or not. Tell me if you like the coffee. Love the coffee. Okay. Do you want to get some? You don't have to buy. You can say, would you like some?
Yeah.
And think about in your mind, I don't want to be like that salesman that comes at me, but I'm not coming at her.
Yeah.
I'm putting a patch on her and I'm having a conversation with her. I'm not like those other people. Okay.
Yeah.
Does that help you?
Yeah. Cool.
I'm going to take her order just like you would if you're going to pull up there and order some coffee.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
By the way, why do you think she told you that it helped her?
Sorry, say that
Why
again?
do you think she told you that the patch helped her?
Yeah, because I think she was probably a bit surprised and delighted.
Excited. Yeah. And maybe she wants some more.
Yeah.
Maybe wants to be out of pain.
Yeah.
But here's what I've learned, like with my pastor, I called him and I said, Billy, how's your feet? I literally bought him a silver pack. I gave him 2 X39 and 2 Ice Wave. I said, how's your feet? He goes, they're just the same. I said, what? Why? He said, well, Jeanette took those patches you bought and she won't let me have them. I bought them for you. I get him on the phone. He said, okay, she got COVID. I said, you tell her to give you the Ice Wave because they're for your feet. Now she wants to 39.
She could go buy her own.
Are you? I was like, I almost didn't know what to say there. I was like, and that was a little hard for me, you guys, because he's my pastor. You know what I mean? Talk about somebody you don't want to sell. I literally bought him for him. And I was a little afraid to call him and say, how you doing all your patches? You know? Same, because I'm not wearing them because my wife's hoarding the patches and won't let me have them. I'm like, I should have called you. So big lesson for me. I'm still learning too. I mean, it's just, she's a $4 million a year earner. She goes, people still tell me no, but I don't care. I don't care. I learned, listen, hanging around with her has been a miracle for me. I got her attitude. I watched everything she did. I watched how she ordered food. I watched how she walked, how she talked. I was on her the whole time I was with her. I had to learn. So Wendy, you know that you now are going to be sharing an amazing product with people and they're going to want to.
Yeah.
And you're just going to take their order.
Yeah.
You're an order taker.
Yeah.
That's all. And when you take the order, you're going to offer them a way they can share it if they want to, so they can get rebates from the company and offset, write this down, offset the cost of your patches.
Yeah.
There's a way that you can offset the cost of your patches by sharing with your friends and family. It's a way for me to help more people.
Yeah.
So GAYLA, when you say you take their order, do you then go to your LifeWave site and go into the back office and sign them up, or do you give them your LifeWave link? How do you do that next step?
I never let a baby put on its own diaper.
Love that. That's so good. That says it all.
That's a
Because
keeper.
wrong site. I mean, our website is challenging. I'm just going to tell you.
Absolutely. We
is.
found that too.
Yeah, big time.
Right side or the left side. And right now I'm building my daughter-in-laws. They're on my left side where I'm working, but they're on an inside leg of my presidential director, which she needs more people on. She's built this side, but she didn't build this side. And so I'm building her inside leg.
Okay. So you go through.
You don't ever anybody on, it's just your outer left and right, just left and right, build left or build right, build left or build right. But I talked to Onyx about it. She said, I totally understand why you're doing that, because that's the way you're going to get paid as well. Not only helping her, but you're going to get paid that way too. So that's why I'm doing it.
Yeah. Okay.
So then so when Wendy follows up with her friend and the friend says, actually, yeah, I do want to try to get some more, Wendy would say those great words that you just gave us, and then Wendy would go to her site and set everything up and this is what we've been doing with friends on the phone, get their details, set it up for them, get their credit card, put it in, and then it's done. So you literally are taking.
Yeah, Wendy would call her and say, hey, listen, about those patches that you said that you wore the other day, I just started with this company, so I don't really know a lot right now, but I talked to my friend who I'm who's been in this for a long time. And she told me that there's a way that you can get these wholesale. So I wanted to know if you wanted to go ahead and get started with them. And then you can either get me on the line or you can get Mary on the line. Wendy, are you in the US?
No, Australia.
Yeah.
Aussie.
So you're going to get Mary on the line, and Mary is going to close it for you. It's called a three-way call. So you're going to say, I don't know that much about it. I just started, but Mary does. And Mary can tell you the best way to get your patches. Do you want me to go ahead and set that up for you? Set up a call. Okay.
Yeah.
And listen, and you're going to listen how Mary closes your friend, which means takes her order. That's all. Just take her order.
Yeah.
Yeah. Difference is she's not pulling up into your shop and ordering. You went to her, gave her a patch, the patch worked. So it is a little different than literally driving up to a drive-through and just giving your card. It's a little bit different, but not a lot different. So your goal right now is to learn how to make that transaction. So by you getting Mary on and listening to Mary take her order, okay, you're going to learn how to take that order. And then you're going to do this with your people. So say this lady gets in and she loves it and she wants to share it. She wants to make a little extra money. And then eventually, sometimes I do four-way calls. Like with my daughter-in-laws, I'm doing four-way calls because I'm like, because Alexa has Michael and Michael's working, but Alexa's not ready to close yet because Alexa doesn't know how to. So I'm doing a call with Alexa, Michael, and his prospect. And I'm closing Michael's people, and Alexa and Michael are learning at the same time.
Yeah.
Or I'll get them all on a Zoom.
And then you're physically putting the order in, setting up their account, doing that for them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So with Alexa, I would give Alexa's signing up my sister-in-law. And so I gave Alexa all of her information last night and let Alexa go to her back office, and she went build left and put all of Debbie's information in there.
Okay. Yeah.
So when you would get Mary on the line, Mary would close her. You're sitting there with a pen and paper getting ready to take all the information down because Mary's going to say, what's your name? We're going to get all your information and put your order in. And then the company, in about anywhere from an hour to 24 hours, the company will send you an email with your receipt.
Okay, that's lovely and clean. That's great. Yeah, I remember years ago I had a friend, and he looked at the psychology of sales, and he offered $1 million reward for anyone who could prove that they had made someone buy something. And he said, I know it's safe because we never make it. They ultimately have to make that choice. We might think, we might, you know, coerce and push, but ultimately we don't make the decision, they do. So I thought that was like, I thought that was just such clarity around, you know, he knew his million, I don't think he even had the $1 million, but he knew it was safe. It was never going to have to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
That is true. And it's just getting them to make that decision. That's our job, is to make clarity to them so that they can make the right decision. And if they make the wrong decision, that's on them. That's their problem. And I just bless them and move on.
Yeah.
And I leave everything on a good note always, except for that guy. I was like, I don't know if present again. Get away from me. Yeah, it was bad. He was bad. I told Onyx and sister, I'm like, what are you doing? Did you know he was, oh, it was bad. So bad. I think they did that to me just to see how I would react.
You were pranked.
Yeah. I didn't handle it very well. I almost punched him, to be honest. I was about to wrestle him to the ground.
I love it.
And all the Ritz-Carlton Hotel. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. Whew,
That's so funny.
I'm gonna have to run. What a blessed honor.
Gayla, thank you so much.
You're amazing.
Thanks, Gayla.
Thanks, Gail. It's fantastic.
That's so wonderful. So if you could share the link, the Zoom link to your online Thursday night, I think you said it was, that would be fabulous if we can tap into those. The other thing, Liz and Wendy, that Gayla offered was for us to set up a messenger group so that if we have specific questions, we can direct them to her. So we'll do that too. So that's fabulous.
Yeah.
Everybody on Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay, so Mary, you and me are friends already, right?
Yeah.
So you make the group up on Messenger and add all your people.
Yeah, I will. I'll do it that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Thank you so much. Have a lovely
I'll
evening.
I'll put the link to Thursday Zoom in that Messenger group.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much.
See you,
Thanks,
man.
Gayla.
Lots of love. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.